Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by to cook with me today. Now, I currently live in South Texas, and a lot of Texans think smoking brisket is a way of life, and it is. Don't get me wrong, we do plenty of that here too. But I'm originally a Midwesterner, which means you might think I should be sharing how to smoke a pork butt. Don't worry, we'll get to that too. We're going to get to that a lot of things on this channel, but today we're going to be talking about smoking chicken. Stick around, and if you're hungry, get more tips on the process. If you follow the channel at all, then you know that I just love to be outside, and that includes putting all kinds of things into the backyard smoker. But chicken is a really good place to start. It's really quite easy, we don't need to make it harder than what it is, but it's also really economical. So we're going to smoke this chicken today on a Sunday and be able to use the rest of it throughout several of the recipes this week. In terms of preparation, I do drain the juice from the package and then put it into the tray so that I can get the plastic off. Alright, and now we're ready to marinate. Chicken, as you may know, it can be a little bit boring, but it also has the opportunity to be quite versatile. Whether you're using a liquid marinade or a dry rub, it does have the opportunity to be a versatile protein to help make any other flavor pop or go along well with something else that you're making that particular day. What I'm using today, though, I kind of like to pick up something from my local butcher shop. It's a family-owned shop here in the Rio Grande Valley in South Texas, but I'm also grabbing something else from my pantry. It isn't as important about what I'm specifically using because you can use what you like. If I'm using a liquid marinade, for example, which I do sometimes, I like to use something with a little bit of citrus. But anyway, for today, I'm mixing these together and I'm going to remember to apply generously. Now remember, chicken can be a little bland on its own, so we want to make sure it's well coated. I use a little bit of olive oil to help the dry rub stick, and then I do need to season liberally. Now, how long do you want to let chicken marinate? That's sometimes a question folks get. And it kind of depends on what you have time for, but if I'm using a liquid marinade, overnight if possible, but I also, for the dry rub, at least a few hours at least. I do like to use a chimney starter to get the coals and wood chunks started. I find this to be a little more efficient in terms of controlling that airflow. Once the coals are ready, I get them into the smoker box. My smoker uses an indirect heat source. Let me know in the comments below, which do you prefer? Once the coals are ready and into the smoker, the next thing I obviously need to do is get the chicken in. I also like to think about setting up a meat thermometer at this point. Because it is a smoker and because it is indirect heat, I do advocate for using more than just one thermometer. Different points of the smoker are going to yield slightly different ambient heat temperatures. I'm not sponsored by Meter. I'm just not opposed to saying, hey, I'm a fan of this product. I can walk you through in the next couple of steps as to how I set up the thermometer. If you take a look at the screen recording, you can see the steps that I walk through to set up the app for this particular cook. We really don't want to mess around though with chicken. If you're smoking chicken at around 250 degrees, the general rule of thumb is about 3 hours for a 3.5 pound bird. That is an estimation, but there are a lot of factors. Is the smoker maintaining heat? Is it windy outside? There's a lot to take into account, but just know this. The USDA says that 165 degrees ensures that you are cooking your chicken to the safe level. Let's get our meter app set. When you're smoking with indirect heat, don't forget to take into account that the side where the heat is closest to is going to warm up a little bit quicker. You're going to want to make sure that you turn your product midway through. Anytime you're smoking meat, you're going to want to make sure to keep an eye on your ambient temperature. As I was checking the app, I realized that the temperature was getting down a little bit lower than what I would prefer. It's time to go outside and stoke that fire. Definitely let me know in the comments which you prefer, direct or indirect smoker heat. I used to be a direct heat fan, but that got it to be a little bit harsh. I can find that I can control the indirect a little bit more, but it does take a little bit more babysitting. Here I'm just churning the product once more. As with any other smoked protein, it's done when it's done, so be patient. But chicken is definitely one of those that you don't want to mess with the level of doneness. Be sure to check your thermometer and make sure it is working properly, because you don't want it undercooked, but you also don't want it overcooked and dry. Thanks for joining me today on this How to Smoke a Whole Chicken. If you like what you see here, please do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe. YouTube cares about these types of things for some reason. But if you like food talk, just be sure to ring that notification bell so you can get alerted to when new videos drop. You'll likely need to download the free YouTube app if you haven't already done so and sign in to receive those notifications, but that just helps make it easier. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time. But until next time, be sure to live life outside of the work that you do.